have here a souvenir from my very first trip to the Philippines, and it is a South Sea oyster shell. Is it just not stunning? It's amazing. Yeah. It's fun. I've got so many shells that kind of look like this that still have like their little like crusty outside to it, but this has just been polished on up. It's beautiful. So a mollusk, oyster, whatever bivalve that makes its own shell, any organism that makes its own shell can make a pearl, right? The pearl is made of the same material that these organisms make their shell with. So that's how they're capable. I mean, there are even sea snails who can make pearls, and they make very beautiful pearls. We'll talk about that. So, I was telling you in the Philippines that this pearl farm I went to, I've since been to other pearl farms in the Philippines, but this one specifically wants this color. And if you can imagine, a South Sea pearl oyster can make silvery white pearls and golden yellow pearls. So whatever the color of the shell is the color of the pearl. But they specifically, this pearl farm wanted that color. So in a Tahitian pearl production, oh, I got a shell, hold on. Oh, yeah, yep. Okay, so here's a Tahitian. And you see how there's a lot of that same silvery white, but this is a black-lipped oyster. And so it's also got this black rim and this ability to make black pearls, which is why Tahitian black pearls are black, although Tahitian pearls can be silvery white as well. It's just the color, again, that they're going for is that dark black pearl. So that is always interesting, the different methods within the pearl farms that they're using. Mainly what they're doing, when I say they put a bead and a piece of tissue inside the oyster to start the pearl making process, that tissue comes from a donor oyster. So if you can imagine, there's a soft tissue body inside oysters and mollusks, and the rim of tissue right around here, hold on one second, I'm gonna press that little camera, there we go. The rim of tissue here is called the mantle tissue. And what it does is it secretes a liquid that hardens into making the shell. So that when I say they put a tissue, they cut that tissue from a donor oyster and they implant that tissue into another oyster to start that pearl making process. So that tissue is actually forming the pearl. It's excreting that pearl making material. So when I say that, there's a reason for that. That's the specific tissue that makes the donation. Okay, so that wasn't it from our pearl farm journey. So stay tuned. I've got more to tell you about then my next stop when I went over to French Polynesia to learn about the Tahitian black pearls.